We are talking about Picard Season 2, Episode 5. And boy, was it a doozy. We saw Girardi on the way to Assimilation, which Shane predicted. We saw Q messing with Renee Picard. And we got to see Brent Spiner's character and his daughter, which eerily looks exactly like Doge or Dodge or Suri or one of the...
Eerie, like they look almost the same. I wonder if it's the same actress.
Yeah, it must be... They must be related.
Somehow. Are they twins?
We saw the beginning of that shield tech that clearly Brent Spiner invented with the drones, which I thought was cool as hell.
Okay, yeah. Wait, what are we doing? Are we doing this like all out of order?
No, I'm just throwing everything out there, Shane.
I'm so confused.
Can you get off? Come on. Let me do my thing.
So, okay.
We also saw a very upset Q, and we saw some interesting quotes that we're going to talk about. Overall, in my opinion, for myself, it was a good time. We haven't heard Shane's opinion. But before we do, I want you to remember to hit that subscribe button. Because we are super close to 1,000 subs. So get down there, hit the subscribe button on the way to the comment section to tell Shane how wrong he is about this episode of Picard.
Didn't say anything yet.
Your turn, Shane.
I didn't even say anything. I literally said nothing. I've said nothing about it. You said to disagree with Shane about this episode of Picard.
We were up till 4 a.m. last night, and I had 12 Red Bulls before this live stream, so I thought it would help me and turn me on, but instead it's making it so I can't really concentrate on the next thing I'm going to say, so I'm saying a lot of things in the wrong way. Out of order. That's... What?
Yeah. I gotta tell you, I want to, dude. Let's take a second here. I want to thank everybody. We've had such great support in trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Just everybody on Twitter, all the member section, everybody has been great about getting the word out to get us to 1,000. I just love you guys so much.
We're like 30 away. It's crazy. We're so close. I mean, hey, maybe by the time you see this video, we'll already be at 1,000. We don't even know.
Well, if everybody subscribes, we'll be there
right now. Hit it.
Right, yeah. It doesn't cost you nothing.
It's so weird when I see like a video with like 2,000 views and I'm like, clearly, they're not listening.
Wait, what's funny is we did a Lord of the Rings video or clip from the show. The clip was got 1,500 views, and it's exactly what I thought. I'm like, can we get 50 subscribers from these 1,500 views?
Yeah, we need 50
of you. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Get us over 1,000. Once we get over 1,000, it don't matter. But
I mean, it matters. But Shane just really wants to start the monetization process so that every week we do this, we're like, okay, we're doing it for a reason.
Yeah, so
we're not just hanging out. There's something there.
No, we're doing it. The reason is we're doing it because it's fun, but it helps when you spend 20 or 30 hours a week grinding out something to get a little bit of a compensation for your effort and time. And that's kind of why it's nice having the member section and being over 1,000 subscribers, then we can forget about it.
Yeah, all right.
This is the year mark, so
let's talk about Picard.
Let me go back to Picard here. So my impression was this was a better episode than the last episode, 100%.
Yeah.
We got a lot more
pretty low bar, to be honest.
It was a pretty low bar. We got a lot more story. We pushed along kind of a lot of different of the storylines and things that are happening. And I felt during episodes 3 and 4 we kind of just treaded water, and then episode 5 we started moving again. And that's kind of we'll go through each of the things as it's happening. There are some things I like, some things I didn't like, and we'll just go through it with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start at the top here. We finally get confirmation that I was right the whole time. And she is one of the Gary 7 people.
You were right the whole time. I think you do too many of these reviews. Because by the third one, you've convinced yourself that you have figured it out. Yes, I did tell you that Gary 7 was the thing last time.
Was it you that said that?
It was me that came up with the Gary 7
okay.
stuff.
So in my defense,
I was right once again.
So you guys watch Picard once a week.
Right.
We watch it 5 times and do 3 reviews 3 days in a row.
Well, you do. I enjoy watching you do it with the salty guy.
So maybe by the time I get to that final one, I'm like,
You've
Yeah.
convinced yourself.
Everything I have learned is because of me.
I've done it all. I've got it all figured out. No, but you were 100% right. I didn't. Yeah, I was going to wait till we got there, but there is this wonderful Gary Seven connection. Do you want to start at the beginning of the episode and just kind of work our way through it?
Yeah, why not? Well, this is the
Okay.
beginning, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but she doesn't reveal that for a little while still.
Oh, all right. I mean,
so
well,
in the
no, but
beginning of
it's obvious though when they come in the doorway and it's the same exact smoke. I mean, yeah, you're right though.
Well, it's obvious to anybody who's a huge TOS fan that that doorway is familiar, but and the whole supervisor thing. But you know, the thing that we got to talk about here is this: the story actually starts out with Renee Picard,
Right.
sitting in the seat, and we're thinking, "Oh my God!" Because the title of this episode is, I think, "Mission to the Moon" or Fly Me to the Moon,"
Fly me to the moon.
which is a great song. And Renee Picard's struggling. She's obviously not doing well, and we're thinking, "Wow, okay, she must be in outer space, and she's having trouble." And oh my gosh, but she's not. She's in a simulator, and she's obviously struggling and having this mental issue. At the same time, they're going back and forth between Renee Picard and this interaction between the actual Picard and Orla Brady, who typically plays Laris, but this is not Laris.
Now it's Talon.
Right. And it's interesting because it's understandable to have Orla Brady in the show because she's an important part of the show, an important part to Picard as a love interest. But it's a little weird that the character, isn't her but looks like her. So maybe it's a Q thing, maybe it's a production thing, and maybe it's just one of those things we just got to go, all right, that's just kind of what they're doing.
I mean, maybe we learned that this version of Talon doesn't remember Picard because the future version of Talon, which is now Laris, is still protecting Picard, but that's her secret. Who knows?
Maybe, it seems like she seemed honestly confused. I mean, she pulled the gun out on him.
But this is the past version of that Watcher. What if in the future she's retired and still kicking it with Picard in the guise of a Romulan?
Well, the Watchers are not time travelers, which is what's interesting about that. They travel long distances, but they're not actually time travelers.
Well, then why? How do they know who to protect for history?
Apparently, people of aliens of higher understanding send them out. So Gary Seven, for example, was sent to be a supervisor and given a mission. And the same way as Talon was also given a mission, and she admits that she doesn't really know. She doesn't understand why this person is important.
Yeah, it's above her pay grade. But
it's above her pay grade, right?
The people above her pay grade are either time travelers or
Right.
extra dimensional beings that are outside space and time.
Something big, that we never really have understood. And the fact that they did make this connection to TOS and Gary Seven, I absolutely love it. I love that this is what I want in the Star Trek that they're making. I want them to confirm the series that we have grown up to love. I want them to make connections to those things because this is what we have always loved about Trek, and we want to see those types of things confirmed for us. And they're doing that in Picard. They did it in Discovery even. Discovery's got other problems. Their problem wasn't making these connections. Their problem is what they did with them. Picard doesn't seem to have that problem yet. I mean, I do have some concerns that we're going to talk about, but I do love this Gary Seven connection and the fact that they've made it now part of the Picard series as well.
I mean, I guess it's entirely possible that it's just the same actress playing the two different characters. Because I guess one has makeup and one doesn't. But I do believe it's also possible there's some Trek shenanigans going on.
So what do you mean? Like maybe Q has intentionally put her there? Something like that? Or
yeah, we don't know exactly how the Watchers pick their supervisors. What if they pick them out of time? What if it's like the Legends of Tomorrow or something where it's like, okay, we're gonna grab someone out of time that has no weight in the future or something.
No, that's not how it works. So what happened is there's a planet 1,000 light years away. Gary Seven, his ancestors were taken from Earth 3,000 years before the events of TOS, and taken to this planet and basically raised or they were developed over the years, and then trained as supervisors to go back to their planets and help make sure that time doesn't, go the direction it's not supposed to, or to save it, or to help protect it. So Talon would be, and I got to tell you, she's obviously from Earth, and this is the thing that's weird about it. This is a Romulan in our future known. Now she's a human. It's not fake ears, right? She's a human who came from Earth, and she would have been sent back as a supervisor because this is where her people came from. And that's why it's confusing to me that she's here and they're using this actress. I get it. Like, she's like got a contract to be in Picard, and it may be that for the same thing that they did with Isa, with the Soji character, like, she's not playing her same character. She's playing a different character.
Right, but that actually makes more sense to me.
It does. So it does make sense.
We'll get there. Let's hold that. We'll get there.
It's like Brent Spiner also playing that character. That makes sense. So
it makes more sense, right?
But this character does not make sense. And if there isn't shenanigans going on, then it will be kind of weird. I mean, it's not going to make me, throw the baby out of the bathwater, but it is a little bit odd.
Here's an idea. What if, because of time travel, what if Picard's positronic brain is seeing, a version of Laris? What if that's not actually
that's not the case, because, and the reason why is because he has this whole conversation with Rafi, and she's like,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Notice that she's like, looks the same. He's like, he's trying to like not talk about it.
I actually liked that interaction. That was cool.
Yeah, it's one of the rare Rafi interactions that is enjoyable.
Yeah, rare, because that character is the opposite of enjoyable for me.
Right. We do need to point out that if Renee Picard is truly the thing that needs to be fixed in the future, and this isn't some sort of feint by the Picard team, then this really throws our theory out the window for the first time in episode 5.
Yeah, see, I think it might be a little bit of sleight of hand, and I'll tell you why. We have yet to see the whole Romulan / Vulcan people that were mind melding with that young character from what is clearly like before 2024 times.
Right. That's a good point.
So that's got to play into it in some way, I'm assuming. Why would they be on Earth at that time? That's super sus.
Yes, that's a good point.
And remember, I don't think we're actually going to see a conclusion to this season. I believe this is going to be a 2-season arc.
It is. You're right. That is a good point. It's they are doing season 2 and 3 together, so you can kind of expect that that's going to happen. Now, and to answer Kenneth LaRoque's question, who is Gary Seven? Go back and watch in the original series, Kenneth. Go back and watch Assignment Earth. It's in 1968, and you'll see who Gary Seven is. He's basically what the Talon character is for Picard.
Yeah, I'll show you so you're not confused. It's actually one of my favorite episodes of TOS.
Yeah, it was played by Robert Lansing, the character, and he did a really good job. In fact, it was going to be a spin-off series. They were considering a spin-off series.
Yeah, it was a backdoor pilot, but it didn't work.
Yeah, it did not work.
So yeah, this is the episode. This is the character in TOS, Simon Earth. There's this awesome character. So you see the cat on his back?
Oh, yeah.
That cat, you just think it's a cat. And it's very, he's into the cat. He carries the cat around. It's his cat, right? And at the very end of the episode, the cat turns into this puberty-inducing character. And she's like...
there's Terry Garr.
And she's like... this character is like... It's obnoxious how sexy she is. And it was so unnecessary, but it was such a Star Trek thing.
It was great.
Look at this. It's
Terry Garr played the... that is appropriate for the time. Short skirts at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and Terry Garr, who went on to do, a lot of stuff, and I think Mr. Mom and a few different movies, was actually young in that role. It's pretty neat to see her.
Okay, so moving back to the story and what's going on. All right, so now we're on the ship. The Borg Queen is, scanning the airwaves. She's gonna call the cops, which I thought was really cool. One of our buddies on Twitter made the made an point, like, why couldn't she do an English accent or whatever? And it's got a good point. Maybe the actress couldn't do a good English accent, or I'm sorry, a good French accent, and they just went with it. But maybe they should have just had somebody French do it. That was,
No, she needed to. If you notice, she could only use the voices she was familiar with.
Oh, so she couldn't use any voice.
She was using Girardi's voice to make those sounds. So she couldn't just use any voice she wanted to. Can I say at this moment that the Borg Queen to me is the best thing about Picard season 2 right now?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like, Annie Wersching is just killing it.
Yeah, look at this framing; it's so sick. Like what a great framing that is.
That looks good. She's just absolutely killing it. Her acting is on point. The Borg Queen is devious and terrifying and manipulative and conniving, and I just love that character right now. So
yeah,
really, really keeping the suspense alive.
Yeah, I said that same thing when after the third time watching. I'm like, man, the Borg Queen is absolutely great.
Yeah,
the Borg Queen is so good. She has managed to make Girardi the hair character I like the least from last season, a character I actually like.
Right. Yeah, she's getting better. And I think I mentioned that later on. When we get to it, another scene, we'll talk about that.
All right, let's talk about the ice detention thing.
Yeah, Rafi's inability to control herself is feeling a little played out to me after 4 episodes.
Thank you. I said it in the first episode, and everyone they're like, she's fine. It's too fun, too much. Yeah.
I mean, I was okay with it for let her mourn for 2 or 3 episodes. I was okay with that, but now it's getting to the point where she's beginning to play out of character, and I understand that we're going to talk more about this as we go forward here, but I know mental health is a really big issue in Star Trek, new Star Trek right now. Mental health in Star Trek Discovery is one of the things that took me out of the series and made it hard to watch, because while mental health is extraordinarily important and happens to millions and millions of people, I think it's okay to play with it and to utilize it as a storyline, as long as it's not becoming the theme of the entire season.
Right.
And I'm a little nervous that that's starting to happen in Picard, and we're going to talk about it as we go forward. But this is just one indication of Rafi, having difficulty dealing with Eleanor's death, and
Eleanor's
death, and not having the ability to shake it. And I'm not saying she should have the ability to shake it, but I'm just not so sure it should play the center role of her character for the entire season.
Right.
It should be something that we visit occasionally, but it's the driving force through who she is right now. And it's distracting a little bit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's very distracting to me. I thought she was doing better on the ship, though. Maybe, maybe it'll lessen the next few episodes.
I don't think so. And that's what worries me about the whole mental health. And look at mental health's important. We've all experienced depression, which is something we're going to talk about with the Rene Picard character. But it shouldn't be your messaging for a show. Like, okay, look, guys, we're sitting down. Listen, we're going to make all this season's going to be about mental health. And I really hate it when shows do that. I'm like, hey, why don't we sit down and say, hey, guys, this entire season is going to be about excellent story writing and a really great story. That's what I want them to sit down and say, not say, what's our message going to be? So, yeah.
I agree. They could have gone to their credit. The EMP coming out of the cell phone is super sus to me, but Star Trek.
I was okay with it. I mean, that guard's going to get hit and probably forget, not realize what he was going to probably think he got what is it when you stun somebody with a, what's that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Whatever. Taser.
He's probably going to think he got tased.
No, see, I had no problem with the tricorder making a stunner in that proximity. But they're 400 yards away, and it makes like a huge EMP that just knocks out the bus. That seemed very convenient for me.
Right, and I also love the comment, hey, we can't just beam him out of there. Everybody will see. Well, gosh, dang it. The last episode, you just got beamed out of a cop car, and all the cops saw you.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. Like,
See,
pick a lane.
that's because Jonathan Frakes was directing this episode.
That's right, and he knows better.
And he understands Star Trek. And I'm not, that is not me dogging Leah Thompson or whatever her name is, but.
Leah Thompson, yeah.
Is that her name?
Yeah, Leah Thompson.
Yeah, the problem is, though, maybe she's a Star Trek fan, but she's just not a Star Trek director. Like, Frakes is a straight up veteran of directing Star Trek now.
And it shows. It
Yes.
shows the way the story moved. Having
pacing.
Jonathan a part of this is so fun. I love having him doing this stuff.
But
Whether
to
it's
be
the
clear,
Orville, it's this, whatever.
Jonathan, if you ever see this, I would have had them take the tricorder, set it, and then go sit it down on the side of the road. So it went off when the
That
bus.
made more sense. Yeah.
They just did it from like a million miles. It's fine.
It kept him from doing like 12 edits that he didn't want to do.
Yeah.
But can we also say here this scene? I get it. I really understand messaging, and I know that they're trying to make a point about certain things. But honestly, Rios connecting with like a throwaway illegal alien character that doesn't forward the story in any way was a complete waste of 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So
However,
once
they
get
could
out
have
of the
been
bus-
way more heavy-handed here.
Well, okay. I'm not doing that.
They got it over. They got it over real quick. I'm just
doing
so.
it could be worse. No.
Look, they had to get Rios out of the bus, and they did it quick.
He didn't need to get out of the bus. They've just disabled the guys, and now they're chilling, having a smoke. I mean, they're not. But he's like, "Hey, buddy," and I love how you did that cross, and comes and gives him a hug, and they say some stuff in Spanish to each other, which is very normal. That's where we're from. We hear that all the time.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
My wife was literally yelling at me off screen when
Yeah.
you were having your last monologue in Spanish, and I don't even understand her.
Well, my point is it was just a waste of 20 seconds that we could have been doing something cool. It didn't forward the story. It didn't do anything other than say, "Oh, Rios understands these people." Rios don't understand these people. He's from centuries ahead. He does not understand these people. He speaks
doesn't.
the same language as these people, but he isn't. He isn't Kuma Sam Lao.
Yeah.
He isn't.
I didn't even know he was Mexican.
Well, Rios is a Hispanic name.
Yeah, I thought he was like French or something. I didn't know he was Mexican. You know?
I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, he could be any of the Romance languages. They all cover each other.
But to be fair, and I know what you're saying, but I'm so glad that this was over so quickly because
No, I'm not accepting that.
hold up, let me finish.
If you're gonna
Last
give me the middle
week,
finger, you only gave me the middle finger for 3 seconds. You still gave me the middle finger.
I get it, but last week I was so concerned that half this episode was going to be their Homeland Security bus heist.
Well, yeah, I get that. They don't. Unfortunately, it costs too much money to make these episodes, and they can't quite do that. But I get what you're saying.
All right. So moving on from that, this comically angry ICE agent.
That is the most pissed off person I have
Sit
ever
down,
seen.
shut
All the
up.
time. Stop talking!
Stop talking! You goddamn
talking to
bleeping
people.
bleep immigrants, you damn bleeping bleepers.
I'm gonna open this gate and come take you out like some movie from the 70s where I beat up people because of the color of their skin. I'm gonna do it.
You do not make me mess up your bloodline, boy. Like, why is he
It's
talking
so, like,
that way?
This is a comic book? What the heck's going on here?
Oh,
I get
man.
it. Listen, you've done the angry cop like 3 episodes in a row. We get it. This guy's not a nice guy. Does it really matter? They're going to beat him up. We believe it. Go ahead and beat him up. At this point, we're cool with it.
Yeah.
You don't need to turn him into like, he doesn't need to be like Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees or whatever.
Maybe they had to like continually reiterate so that when they like beat the crap out of him, you wouldn't feel bad or something. I don't know what it was, but we get it. And this guy is honestly, it's comically overblown because I don't think anyone, and I don't think most people are that angry for that long. It's been a week now where he just has that look on his face yelling at the brown people. Like,
it's funny, when I was younger and worked for really mean people, like dudes at work, like had bosses that were just kind of jerks, right? You almost in every case that was a case, you would go to their house and their wife like wore the pants in the house, right? And like run them down. So they would go to work and be like mean to everybody, right? To like balance out their emotions. So this guy must have a terrible home life. That's all.
Dude, my first job, I worked at a place called Staples. You guys probably heard of this, right? Staples Office Supply.
Yeah, office supplies.
I don't know if it's out wherever you guys are, but here there's a bunch of little Staples. There used to be a bunch of Staples.
Business, so.
But my first job was working at my first real job. I worked at Kinko's too, but I was working at Staples in the oversized department. Back then, you used to be able to go in and like have like your kids' banners printed up and all that, right? Mm-hmm. And I was the print guy. Like I knew how to operate all the machines. I could make the copies and make the prints, and my bosses were all so incredibly dumb with computers that they didn't know. They didn't know when I was blatantly just playing video games in the back. Like I'd be on the computer that prints like installing Warcraft. I'm not joking.
Nice.
I would literally go to the shelves, grab a game, open it on the way to the print center to install it. This is why I didn't keep that job very long. However, one of my bosses, his name was Kevin, and he was one of the most douchebag people I've ever met in my life. He was passive aggressive and sassy and angry and always like just like trying to find a reason to like give you crap, right?
Okay.
And I always let that kind of stuff roll off my back because I was straight up just robbing them. I would get snacks and video games and going. So yeah, go ahead and yell at me, dude. I think I've stole like $40 worth of product today.
So was he like getting worked at home or something, or was it?
Yeah. So sorry, get back. So one day he gets done yelling at me about getting these business cards printed faster. And he's like, in front of the whole store, he's yelling at me, and he's walking away on a huff, right? And I see some guy and some girl come in through the front door, and they're like, Kevin, I've been calling you, and it's going straight to voicemail. And he's like, oh, come to my office. And she's like reading in the riot act all the way to his little crappy office, right? Mm-hmm. And it's his ex-wife and her boyfriend.
Oh Lord!
That is now showing up at his job to pick up their alimony check and to yell at him in front of all his employees, bro. Wow. Right. I'm like, damn, Kevin.
In that case, you can be the guy on the bus yelling at everybody about going across the border.
No wonder you're having a bang. No wonder why you're such a dickhead. Damn.
Let's keep moving.
Oh, so yeah. So this guy right here, he's Kevin now.
Okay, that's Kevin. I got it.
Okay. He sort of looks like him too.
Poor bastard. All right.
So yeah, so they beat up this guy's real angry. Beats up the angry guard.
Right.
They get him out. Blah 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 blah. All right. So she sees Eleanor for a minute though. You see that?
Yeah, it's what she's struggling with. She see. I mean, it's a little bit like you can tell like the level of like the fact not just noticing him, because if you look at this kid, he's got like a general look of Eleanor, but I'm not sure like he convinces you that he's an alien. And that you have this level of, she's so distraught. I mean, I don't even know how she's functioning. If she is so distraught that she is literally seeing Eleanor and other people while she's doing this whole thing, then, she's obviously having some serious mental health issues. And like I said, it just kind of pulls us out of the story. If there's going to be a lot of this, it's not making us like her more. It's not making us love the story of Picard more. It's merely taking us out to remind us of the same thing that we keep getting hit in the face with over and over and over and over again. We get it. Rafi's not doing good. We don't need 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes of every episode of this, of being reminded of this. We know it. We're moving forward. Okay. Now let's keep telling the story.
I'm frankly surprised they didn't have the same actress that plays Eleanor just play that character, but in human form.
I mean, I thought about that, and I'm like, that might have been a little too on the nose.
Right?
Then the audience would have been confused. I'm like, is it Eleanor?
Right. All right. So moving on from that, you're right though.
Thank you.
All right. So hopefully, luckily, this guy's making Did you wonder for a minute there when he's like checking his phone? I'm like, is he doing something sus right now? What's going on?
Is this going to move the story? Like for a moment, you think this might move the story forward or something. Oh, but no, it's just a throwaway character.
Right?
Why do we care this guy's on the phone? I mean, do we want to show that maybe it's like the cynical part of me is like, do they want to show that maybe illegal aliens can use phones? You know, it's like we live in. I know. We live. Listen, some incredible people that we spend time with are not legal aliens in America. Okay, yeah. And they're fine. They're people. They're normal people, just like the rest of us. They're actually taking these people and making them more caricatures than they actually are.
Yeah.
They're making them more pathetic than they really are in real life. Listen, guys, if you don't live in a high immigration area, half of Southern California is illegal immigrants. I'm just telling you right now.
Yes, and they're very capable. They don't have these problems. They're
our friends and family, actually.
Yeah, they're literally our friends and family, and the only difference between them and someone that's legal is a piece of paper. So they're making them parodies of what you think an illegal immigrant is like. Oh, speaking with a very high accent, barely speaking English. I can barely use my phone, and he puts his all the way to the top kind of thing. Like that is such a massively inappropriate stereotype.
And that is such a typical Mexican stereotype, having the
from the 80s though.
To the top. Okay, yeah, having the button all the way up to the top is definitely a stereotype from the 80s. It's just kind of weird.
What is this, blood in, blood out? What are we doing right now?
Yeah, so it's very out of touch for people who live in Southern California. I hate to say it. You know, Jonathan Frakes lives in Southern California. So it's a little bit like, you know, us pointing things out. Now, I guess the rest of the world needs to, in order to understand the messaging that they're trying to push here, they need to make these human beings seem less than in order to make you feel sorry for, so that this whole situation is poor.
Dude, I almost wanted to show a picture of my buddy. I have a friend's name, and his Jesus, and he's an actual chef, like in a really fancy restaurant. I'm not gonna say where. And I almost want to show you a picture of him, but I don't want to dime him out for being illegal. But he's been illegal since my entire life, and he makes way more money than me. Way more money. He looks better. He goes to the gym. Like he's doing good.
Yeah, the only difference is you know, they're not. Some people are just not legally here, and some people get here in various different ways, and sometimes they get treated poorly. It does happen, you know, and some people are super poor.
It's true.
Most of the people coming here already have family here, and they're already got a place to stay and people to take care of, you know. So it's just kind of, I just don't think it's an accurate representation of exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Also, there are more than just one type of illegal immigrant.
Yes.
Just so you know. Yeah. World's a big place. All right. All right, so that happens, blah, blah. All right, back to the important part. He says supervisors. He talks about Gary 7. Look at Gary 7 from Captain Kirk era.
Well, he's recalling it, and I actually thought he did a good job of acting like it was something that was on the periphery of his information instead of going, yes, Gary 7 from Star Kirk. You know, it was a good acting moment for him to have this kind of like, oh, yes, I remember that. You know, I like that about that moment.
Right. Yeah, I liked it too. All right, and so they go to the thing now. Okay, so there was a moment where she's showing him like the therapy video.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is highly inappropriate. That is private. I'm like, bro, she's a watcher. Yeah. I don't think the watchers care about privacy very much.
And she told him she didn't care. She's like, and.
Yeah. It's in the title. I'm a watcher.
I gotta say, I do appreciate all of the history we're getting of Picard's ancestors, which is adding to Star Trek canon, and I don't think necessarily in a negative way.
No.
Although there is one thing that we're going to learn here coming up that does concern me a bit. But I do like that we're getting more backstory. I always love more backstory in Star Trek, as long as it's staying within canon.
Yeah. You know, I know that, this is just a side thought. I know that when they're showing alien tech, they don't want to show like a square or whatever. But I feel like a horizontal square is actually like the most efficient way to show a playback of something. You know, so whenever I see these like these view screens that are like oval or triangle or like this, where it's like I know you're like that's that way because you want to show like the alien nature of that device.
Yeah, they're future teching it, man. That's all it is.
But really, the most efficient way to view something is the way you're viewing this right now. Just so you know, that's the most efficient aspect ratio. Actually, I think square might be the most efficient one.
Yeah, like a TV.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I like this when he goes, pull back and show me the therapist, and it's Q. That was sick.
Yeah, well, not unsurprising. I mean, you knew it was Q from the moment he started talking. I mean, at least I did. You know, I don't know why. It's like, oh, yeah, it's Q. And then when he did it, it's like, yeah, okay. I mean, he was talking with like a little bit of a German accent or something, but you could hear John Delancey.
Like Sigmund Freud or something. Tell me about your mother. That wasn't even German accent. That was like something else.
It's like Russian or something.
It's because of your father. All right. Yeah, and we find out Brent Spiner is there's Leah Thompson.
Yeah, she had a little cameo, which was nice. You know, she's a good actress, and she actually played the role of the lead like panel member that basically shuts down Soong's funding.
Right, because of some kind of treaty against his work.
Well, we already know that that time in Star Trek has already happened. I totally just drew a blank on it, but you know the genome stuff and the human DNA and all that stuff. What was it called? The wars?
Eugenic wars.
Eugenic wars. The eugenic wars already took place. So this must be, you know, according to time. So this must be, you know, after that happened, and now, hey, you know, you're not supposed to be working on genetics, and he's doing it obviously for his daughter, which is admirable. And the thing I like about this character, Brent Spiner did a great job this episode. He's always a great Soong. But this version of Soong is actually has more heart than other versions of Soong, less driven by need to self-fulfill. He's really concerned about his daughter now, but you can still see the tinge of, you know, especially we need to do it for future generations. We need to, you know, so he still has that same Soong character trait that's carried in the family of being obsessed with accomplishment. But this version of Soong seems to be a little bit more heartfelt.
Yeah, maybe this is sort of where it got off the rails. And you know what? I gotta say, as a father, you know, I'd burn the world down if it bought an extra day for my kid. I've said that before.
Absolutely true.
As much as I love some of you guys, you know, if I gotta break your neck to guarantee a week more of life for my kid, sorry, it's not really a question. So
we get it.
So I totally understand it, and maybe that's sort of where that character flaw goes off the rail in his ancestries, where they start to accept. You start to accept more and more compromise because the ends justify the means.
Yeah, and I think there's, you know, if you want to talk about like lineage and why things happen, there might be a genetic character trait. Like I would argue that, say, our father is very entrepreneurial, and therefore we seem to be as well. So maybe that's a trait that gets carried on, but also the success of previous generations. There's part of you that wants to be more successful than the people who came before you, and maybe this just continues to push that iteration of the Soong family forward.
Right. All right. So the fact that she looks exactly like her android counterpart, to me, I know a lot of people had a problem with it, but to me, it makes complete sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense, but it's acceptable. Like, I mean, why would it make sense?
Because Data made his daughter. So he modeled his daughter off of his genetics.
Right. No, what I'm saying is like, okay, I get why they use this character but okay, he didn't make, this is his daughter. In future versions, all the other Soongs are making their people, right? They're making their androids.
Right.
Now, Soji was made by another version of Soong down the road that is the exact same character. I get they've got a contract they need to use her in the show, and we understand the association, so it makes sense. But it doesn't make sense in a canonical way for this character to look exactly like a future character. Do you know what I'm saying? Like his daughter, the future Soji shouldn't look the way she does because of this older version of Soong's daughter.
Well, how did Data model his daughter? What did he model after?
Lars or whatever her name was.
Doge or whatever her name is.
Oh, Data? No, that wasn't Data that did that.
Yeah, Data made him. Didn't Data make those?
No, it was another. It was It was another.
Oh, that's right. I'm so stupid. Never mind.
No. Data made his own daughter in TNG.
Yeah, you're right. I'm so dumb. You know what's funny is they probably should use that actress. No, you're right. I'm sorry. I got my wires crossed. Yeah, so this only makes sense because it makes sense that the audience understands connection. It doesn't actually make sense really in canon then. Because, yes, someone else made Doge using Data's brain, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
A good point. That's actually, you weren't far off. I mean, you weren't far off, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. What's the other one's name? It's Doge is the one that exploded. What's the other one that's alive still? Suri, whatever. Suri?
It's
Soji?
Soji? Yeah, Soji is the one that's still alive.
Okay. All right. So this whole interaction was good. I think Brent Spiner has gotten so good with age. He's a very good actor now.
He's always been amazing. But you're right. He makes this show better just by being in it.
Yeah. Synchronous results in the death of subject. 99% certainty. Jeez, it's rough.
I want to point out here that I'm not going to be happy if Q is the bad guy. I'm not going to be happy with it. I have a hard time accepting that that's what's going on here, and I'm going to be disappointed if the end result of all of this is that he's afflicted with some sort of like Q level mental health problem, and that's why he's doing this.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Imagine that.
If
so, I have good news for you because I think I have proof that he's not the bad guy.
I mean, it would be
in this episode.
Let me just say, we complain a lot about writing. We complain a lot about the new Trek writing, okay, and that it's kind of pedestrian and not very forward thinking. It would be very basic for them to take the storyline where Q is bad, but it's not his fault because he has a mental illness. That would be very like typical basic, and there not being any sort of feint or any sort of alternate thing that actually happened that tricks the fans and gives us something really intriguing and interesting and fun. Now, I can totally see them doing exactly that, and that's why I'm terrified that the rest of Picard could end up being this way, and that's the answer. And there is no sleight of hand, there is no magic trick, there is no sense of enjoyability. It's just simply the mental health storyline, which seems to be, I mean, Rene Picard has a mental health problem.
Rafi.
Rafi has a mental health problem, and Q now might have a mental health problem. So it's like, could this entire thing be happening because Q is depressed? It's a Q depression.
Oh, don't say that.
This whole thing occurred because that happened.
Shut your mouth.
A good lesson about depression. Let me tell you what,
No.
I've been depressed. I understand depression. It's a horrible, horrific, horrible thing. Does it need to drive Star Trek? I don't think so.
I'm depressed once a week, guys.
Well, there's a difference between just being depressed and having clinical depression. It's a serious deal. I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying, does Star Trek need to be based on it? And I'm concerned that that's where this is going.
Yeah, that is concerning. I love the fact that he 3D printed his card. But I gotta say, this is the most impressive 3D printer in the history of 3D printers.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I'm so glad you brought that up. So the little you talked about it earlier, the
shields on the drones.
Yeah, the drone force field. Like this tech right here is like the first time the tech has shown us that our timeline is not in the Star Trek timeline.
Right, but these also feel like connective tissue between future tech and our current tech.
Right, but I'm saying like that's not 2 years ahead of us. So we're not going to all of a sudden develop a force field in the next 2 years. So the good thing about this is that because we've had this weird like, are we in Trek? Is Trek our future? Like we don't really know the answer to that 100%. Mm-hmm. Maybe the eugenics wars took it off. I know definitely Roddenberry's thing was, it's our timeline going forward. I think originally when he created it. But now things have happened that didn't happen. So it's like, but this really shows us, because we don't have this kind of tech. We don't have the ability to create a force field.
This looks very similar to tech. It's a resin printer, but the scaffolding is out of control. The bed's huge, and it's printing metal.
Right. So I guess my point is that it's a verification that it's out of our timeline, and I like that because I want some sort of a tech proof that we're not operating in our current timeline, to allow us for things to be more believable, and also to be less judgy about them putting some sort of messaging in our time and about what we're currently going through. Knowing it's another thing gives them more play to do things that they want to do without as much criticism.
Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. It printed a metal card. He pulled it out, didn't have to take anything off. Sorry, and there's printed numbers already on the card. It's perfection.
Well, we also predicted that was a business card, which I think was cool.
Yeah, we did. Okay. Yeah, so that happened. And yeah, I like the idea of like showing the connective tissue between technologies.
Yeah.
I do like that a lot. Showing the drones using the force field, that's sort of cool.
I love that they use drones because that's something we can we can recognize it, but the force field is obviously something that is not even remotely close to what we're doing.
It's also maybe this guy is like more advanced than the average people too.
Right, but the government's not going to let him hoard that. So
right, that's true.
So it would be somewhere.
And the force fields, by the way, looked exactly like the force fields around Earth in the future.
Yes, they did.
The same shape.
So Soong's probably, yeah. It's a proof that he's connected to the future, what's happening, which they've already shown is kind of what's happening.
Right. Now the cop goes in there and finds the Borg Queen, and
I didn't really care about this whole thing. I felt like that was way too long.
It was too drawn out. But imagine being a cop, getting a call, going to an old house, and seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every UFO person's story, like, oh my gosh, a UFO abducted me or whatever. Right. Except this guy, and it happened to this dude. So,
to be honest, though, it's scary, but I could be abducted by this Borg Queen. I might be okay with it.
You mean just the top half of the body? You're good with that?
Yeah, go with it. 100%.
I love how she uses him as a tool to basically trap Girardi.
Yeah, she wasn't assimilating him. She wanted Girardi.
Yeah, very well done.
That was so next level to me.
Yeah, it was appropriate to what the Borg Queen would do, and that's why I think she's one of the best things of Picard, because she's acting appropriate to her character, and we're seeing things happen. We're surprised by certain things. And enjoying certain elements of it as a result of them staying true to what this character is supposed to be like.
Right, and she's not short-sighted, just like I'm going to make a drone and see how this works out. No. She wants Girardi.
Yeah, she does, and she was willing to sacrifice herself to get her.
Yeah, which she did. We'll get to that, but she did.
Yeah.
Back to L.A. By the way, that's stock footage. I actually have that exact video. They're using stock footage in Star Trek Picard.
Hey, you do what you got.
That's hilarious.
Saving money, baby.
It's funny. There was a scene at the end of Discovery where they showed like all the bad things that happened, and there's a scene where it shows like in their memories or whatever, they're seeing like flashes of stuff, and they see like a fox being eaten by maggots. And guys, that's one of the most famous stock videos of all time. It's been around since like the 90s, and it's been used in thousands of TV shows. It's literally in the intro of True Blood. It's part of Empire. It's been in everything, literally everything. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's like one of the most bought and paid for stock videos of all time.
Something else I want to mention here. Q seems hell-bent on stopping Renee Picard. So,
but not killing her.
Well, we don't really know. Okay, so I mean, obviously, I think not. But is his motivation to get Picard, Jean-Luc, to recognize that he should put love above living his life in the stars? It seems like Renee, like Jean-Luc, has totally dedicated her life to getting into space. Right? As a child, everything was very, the way the Watcher explained it all. Everything was she did everything young. She was very smart. She went to the next level. Everything seems to be about getting. Now she's having these mental issues. So is Q trying to use her to show Picard what his mistake was? A lot of Q's episodes was really about Picard falling in love. Remember the Cupid episode and getting Picard to understand different things. Is this all like? Is this the entire thing motivated to show Picard? I mean, it's from the first episode we saw it. He turns down Loris in episode 1. The bad stuff starts happening, right? He's questioning his, everything he's done with his life. Is he using Renee to show Picard the wrong trek of his life. I'm thinking that could be what's going on.
I hope not. I hope not. But back to this real quick. That better not be it, by the way. I don't want to see two seasons of him trying to teach Picard how to, hey, come on and just kiss the girl. Whoa. Really? I just watched 15 episodes of television?
But if you go back to the first episode, you got to admit, right, it was definitely going there. Right?
I think it was just setting up the fact that Picard is now going to miss Loris because she's gone because of this future. I think that was more of a setup. I don't think it was foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's possible that, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I would be curious to see how that goes.
So some people were annoyed that Brent Spiner's character cursed, you know?
It's realistic.
But listen, like, this is not the future. He's an angry, bitter scientist in 2024. That's pretty on brand for us nowadays,
totally
guys.
Appropriate. Yeah. In the future, it would have been weird and pointless. Like, because they don't utilize that language.
Right.
They're not supposed to, because they're above the whole. Yeah, there's like a study that talked about people who cuss are more intelligent. I saw that recently, and I'm like, that sounds like a study that was made by people who aren't very intelligent.
No, I think there was another corresponding study. I know what you're talking about, but they said that it's also a sign of people that don't understand how to express their emotions properly, so they use cursing. And when I read that, I'm like, I guess I don't know how to express my emotions.
Well, it's also true, and I think it's also people have a weak vocabulary. Like, I cuss in times where I'm just relaxed and doing my thing.
Right.
But
I want to express myself right now, and I don't know what words to use, so you.
Right. And in the future, apparently, they've moved beyond that. I kind of like that about Star Trek, that it's just an elevation of humanity.
Well, we're also not using bad words from 100 years ago, though. True. I don't. Anyways, it doesn't matter, because this was totally appropriate. It's 2024. This is the down and dirty present, boys and girls, so he can be mad, okay?
Right. Did you notice that Girardi is once again lying and hiding things from people close to her? And in a way, because just like she did in season 1, she lied about killing that guy. She kept it hidden, right? Killing the guy. To me, it's actually kind of good to see her character is still flawed in the same way, and despite the fact she's been more enjoyable this season, she's still a flawed character, and they stayed true to her season 1 character by kind of having her keep the Borg Queen secret.
Yes, I'm digging her character this season, man. I'm digging her character. So she asked the question, why doesn't Q just snap his fingers? Because that's a great question to ask, because the audience is probably asking that question, and he's like, I don't know.
Because he has a mental health issue. He's depressed.
Hold on. Don't stop it. Stop it, Shane.
I mean, I think that's where they're going.
Okay, well, now let me explain why I think you're wrong, and I've been trying to get there.
Oh, I want to hear it.
But I don't want to skip stuff. This is when she shoots the Borg Queen. Let's get through this, okay? He grabs a guy, blah, blah, blah. I want you, Girardi. Come put your ample bosom in my face.
Oh, my God.
And she's like, no, and she shoots her, but then she still walks up to her and gets assimilated. Cool.
Well, we don't see that till the very end, but yeah.
Right.
She gets the nanoprobe.
Blah, 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 which is great. All right, so this is the scene. I'm sorry. He tests the drug on his daughter. It works, but it has a limited lifespan. So now he's connected to Q because he wants Q's help to save his daughter, of course. All right. Now listen, if someone wanted me to save my daughter and they said you have to do this, I'd be like,
yeah,
cool. How many times?
Right.
All right. So I'm desperately trying to get past all this to get all right. This is when Q is in Soon's laboratory.
Lab, right. Mm-hmm.
And he's explaining how things work. Now, it's very important. This scene. Ready? I'm going to play it. And we're about to get a copyright claim, but it's important. Ready? Watch closely.
Do you have the cure? The real cure? Not something that wears off? Because if you do, I am a hostage to you, sir.
We're all hostages to what we love. The only way to truly be free is to love nothing. How meaningless would that be?
All right.
Okay.
He said, if you have the cure, I'm a hostage to you, sir. Q says, we are all hostages to what we love. To truly be free, is to love nothing, but how meaningless would that be? So this is not a vindictive, angry Q.
Oh no, this is a message for Picard. This isn't a message for. Oh no.
Yes.
This is a message for Picard.
He loves Picard.
No, Picard loves nothing. This is a lesson for Picard. This whole thing. Is
No, stop saying that. No,
that's what he just confirmed it.
No, he just confirmed the opposite. He's confirming his motivations are love.
Okay, but why did he mention loving nothing would be meaningless? That's kind of the point.
I think he's killing himself to do one last thing for Picard in some way. I think he's giving up himself to do something meaningful, because he said, how meaningless would that be?
To teach Picard about love.
You stop saying
then
that.
What else is it? I would love to hear.
I just said it. It's his motivations, not.
No, I know, but what is Q doing then? If you don't think that's what it is, what do you think?
I don't know, but that's why we're sitting here talking about it, though. So.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Oh, I love this when they want to send her in there, and he's like, "So you're not going to send the spy or the X-Borg?"
Oh yeah, all right. They're going to send you. During this conversation, they say something very important, and this is something that I don't know if anybody keyed on it. If anybody keyed in on it, but they basically say that Renee Picard goes to Europa, and the key to all this, all that Picard knows, is she brings back a microorganism that she believes has something sentient going on.
Yeah, this is baller. She brings back a sentient, what she believes is a sentient microorganism from Io, whatever the hell that
Europa.
is.
No, Europa.
But why did they say Io?
Oh, well, Io is one of the moons. So is Europa. Maybe they go to another moon. Yeah.
What a weird name for a moon.
It's all Greek stuff, man.
So that had me pausing and frantically Google searching.
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
It's all made up. This is what terrifies me. Because am I wrong here, or humanity's first real, alien was the Vulcans that we are aware of? Picard would know. I mean, I guess they're saying it's the case, but I just feel like we would have known if there was something before, if there was some sort of extraterrestrial before Vulcans.
A sentient microorganism, though, like
that's an alien.
I mean, right.
That's but life beyond our planet.
Right, but isn't a cat sentient?
What's that? Well, cats are sentient, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's still a life form that's beyond our planet. It's life beyond Earth that we don't know exists until the Vulcans show up.
But we've made a point. They made a point of saying sentient because I think we've already found bacteria and stuff on other planets.
No. We have not found.
Yeah, we found like bacteria fossils or whatever on
that. They're not alive, bro. That means that there may have been something on Mars a long time ago, but they're not alive. We did not find life off of our planet. And here's the interesting thing is that now we're not just life, because microorganisms are not necessarily sentient. It's just life. There's a difference between life and sentient life. Sentient life can think. Is a life. I guess you would say a being. So what they're saying here is that this is an alien they brought back to Earth, right? Am I wrong here?
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Right, and if that's the case, there's nowhere in Star Trek canon, and it's kind of a little bit weird to me. I mean, maybe it doesn't add up to much, but if she doesn't, what they're saying is, if she doesn't bring this sentient microbe back from this mission, then the future changes.
Ooh, maybe that is how we get to a utopia not based on capitalism and based on replicators, because maybe this sentient life form is what they use to power replicators.
But not, well, I mean, you could say that if it was like, further down the road after the nuclear war occurs. We still have a nuclear war that's supposed to happen.
That's true.
In 2 years from 2020, in 2026.
I'm always wondering, like, how do we get to this utopia? And like, okay, well, replicators is really how people can like live without working. Well, how do they get there? How do they get to that point?
Well, it's well after the flight of the Phoenix,
right?
That occurs. So I mean, I'm not sure what they're doing with this, and it's a little scary, but at the same time, as long as they don't screw up what we've already know is true, then I'm going to be okay with it. I don't laugh like that because that's what I'm talking about.
Because the 21st century was rife with chaos.
I don't. Yeah. If you haven't seen the video on Guinan, please go watch that. We'll tell you. You'll see what chaos really was like.
Rife with chaos. Yeah, I feel like the early 1900s was way more chaotic.
All right, where are we at here?
I feel like Q might be playing with us. Like, I don't think Q's playing with you, bro.
I don't know, but I don't want Q to be the bad guy. That's all I can say.
Yeah. All right. So, blah, blah, blah. He has a plan. Of course, he doesn't make us privy to his plan because that would not be good TV.
You love this party's like infiltration Ocean's 11 thing.
Yeah, I half expected it to be like boom, 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 boom.
You know what's a little weird? It's a little weird that they have a party that would be under like a James Bond level of security. The White House doesn't even have the capability to do the things that they're doing for their parties that surround like the president.
Bro, this is space. This is SpaceX though, bro.
What's
trillion.
that?
This is like their version of SpaceX. It's like $1 trillion company.
It's NASA.
It's not. Is it NASA?
Yeah, they said NASA's been trying to get her fingers on. Yeah, it's NASA.
No, yeah, I don't think it's NASA. I think it's actually a NASA-like organization like SpaceX.
My point is it's not. I'm sorry. Facial recognition. People. It's a dinner party, bro.
Again,
like,
though,
what are they going to steal? What are they going to steal?
What if they're trying to steal secrets to the Mars mission, bro?
At this mansion that they're having a party at? Something's weird here.
They said that the astronauts are all on super lockdown.
I get it, but what I'm trying to say, what are they? Okay, I get it. Okay, but this is just too high tech security level for a party. Okay, I get it if like they were going into like the place where they were being kept on lockdown,
right?
And like, but it's weird. It's a little weird. Now it also does, show us again. Once again, we're not in the Star Trek timeline because this tech doesn't really exist now. That they can connect to a computer and immediately be able to tell whether or not your entire life history. They say they see your ID and they can get your entire life history on the computer right there. That does not exist.
I'm so glad because if I ever walked into a place that had that ability, I could just see the guy in the back throwing up like, oh, what? Oh my God.
No, the guy's gonna be like this. You out.
Get out.
Get out.
Deviant. Good reason though to put Girardi in a red dress, which she looks fantastic in, I might add.
And we also know that the Borg Queen is about to take her over based on the clips.
Yeah, phenomenal so far. Like I said, I'm liking Girardi more and more. This ad, they grabbed her.
Meaning.
Oh, there was a cool moment where they're like, why is she handcuffed? And she's like, and he had a reason, whatever. And she goes, she's probably some lady from Newport Beach. We're gonna get so sued. And
that, what's cool about that is it's kind of, it's low key, right?
Right, it's low key, but here's the deal.
Nobody knows what that means.
You gotta be from SoCal to really, really understand what that means, because there's a lot of Karens, rich Karens from Newport Beach.
Right, and so that was, most people are not gonna understand what that meant, and so that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, Newport Beach is an actual place, one of the wealthiest places in Southern California, and there's a lot of very entitled folks. In fact, fun fact, a lot of retired actresses and actors from Hollywood, about 30 miles north, retire in Newport Beach.
It would have made more sense for them, and I'm surprised they didn't say that she was from Orange County.
Right.
It would have made more sense for them to say that. It was just so specific to say Newport Beach because, frankly speaking, it's not something that the world really is aware of.
Yeah, Orange County would have been more like, I guess, secular, yeah.
Yeah.
Your prince.
All right, so then that's when we find out that she got assimilated. Or not that's not a full assimilation though, right? This is new.
Well, she's like... The Borg Queen wants to coexist almost like Locutus level. So you got to look at it as like a Locutus level assimilation. Locutus still had the ability to function, to make decisions, to do things that he wanted to do. The same thing is probably happening with Girardi. Because it's a shared thing.
This low-key assimilation is sick, by the way.
Those nanoprobes, man.
I love that. I was worried that she didn't have any nanoprobes left. Now here, this is what's unique to me. I get what you're saying. Sure, that's right. But this scene is purposely showing that Girardi is existing alongside the Borg Queen in her own mind.
This is the only way they could have done it, and I'm totally okay with it. We want to see more Borg Queen. That was the one sad thing. I'm like, dang, they killed her, which means we're not going to see the Borg Queen. We're only going to hear her, and then they showed her, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm glad this is happening.
Yeah, and I love how her arms around her. I mean, whoever said last week that Girardi is going to end up being the Borg Queen in the future,
that was a good move.
That was a really, really brilliant thought.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happens, and
that's why they didn't show her face.
And it was a good move. Yeah.
So imagine it. That's why she's not a bad guy in the future.
Which, if you speculate on that for a second, that means that in order for them to get back to the correct time, it must be Girardi in that alternate time trying to fix things when she's powering up everything. So the theory would be she broke through that time thing to get to Picard to somehow use the energy to fix things.
Right.
And it's like this weird causal loop or something.
Right.
Maybe. I mean, I'm just going along that theory. Now, I'm not saying that the writers...
Oh, what if Q shifted them before she had the opportunity to make it happen?
Had to be the case because the self-destruct didn't go off.
Right. So they go back to their moment where she is successful in some way.
Yeah, but doesn't remember. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting idea, and it was a great theory brought up by a fan.
Yeah, really cool. And that's it. That's it. That's the end of the show. Overall, man, I gotta say, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, I'm still connected in. I'm still, excited to see what's happening next. Got concerns, but ultimately, I'm still excited about seeing what's coming.
I'm very glad that they course corrected a little bit because the last couple episodes was a little bit of a downer. All right, so we're going to talk to our members here, but before we go, don't forget to subscribe and like on the way to the comment section to yell at Shane for being an insanely racist individual and making fun of all the Hispanics. So,
what? That didn't happen.
Oh yeah, never mind. I'm sorry. That's an alternate timeline.
That didn't happen. That's an
alternate timeline.
Federation timeline. Yeah. Alternate person, not even me.
Anyways, guys, on the way down to the comment section to yell at me now for that mistake, please hit the comment section. I hit the subscribe button, and we're going to leave now, and we're going to talk to our members. So, adios.